All right. Welcome, everybody. This is from Scrubs to Riches. I'm your host, Shelby, ER nurse, coach, guy who's tried everything in the book to try to be successful in his own right, right? So, anyways, I'm an ER nurse and a coach and a guy who's tired of watching people burn out while chasing someone else's version of success. So I started this podcast. And really, it all started from a couple years ago when I became a nurse, and it was right after COVID. I was a nurse during COVID, but this kind of premonition of me wanting to do more and not liking where I was came around 2022, and I was at a point where I had everything that I wanted. I had everything that I wanted to have at that time, and I had done it all for myself, and I'd proven to myself that I can do anything that I set my mind to. I had my own place. I had a good career. I was respected as much as a new nurse could be in my life and in my career, and I just wasn't happy. I was working too much. I was burnt out. I thought that money would solve my problems, and lo and behold, I found myself in my big 2-bedroom apartment in a nice place in Louisville, nice neighborhood in Louisville, Kentucky, and I realized I wasn't happy. I was soaking in my misery. I was successful, but not respecting myself. And so, anyways, that started this whole trend of me wanting to do better and knowing that I can do better. And it's kind of the tipping point that changed my life into where it is now. And so I first wanted to kind of say that, working as a nurse, it gave me that house, that gave me that place. It gave me the ability to not have to live paycheck to paycheck. It gave me the ability to speed up if I wanted to speed up and save money, or slow down and take some vacation if I wanted to do that. So I'm not knocking nursing, but it is, kind of a golden handcuffs type career. And, I started feeling stuck, burnt out, craving more. And so, I looked for a coach, and I found one, and, I fought with the idea of having a coach. I figured I could just do it myself. I got this far, by myself. And, hiring a coach was one of the best things that I ever did, because it showed me that, yes, I am capable of getting everything that I want and doing it myself, but how fast do I want to do it? Do I want to spend years and years trying out things that just aren't going to work, or maybe they do work and, I was just taking the long road? So hiring a coach was definitely a game changer for me. And, it's what has propelled me to want to be a coach, and has propelled me to have the confidence to be in a room where I'm the only person that, has not made it to where everybody else is. I've sat at tables where I'm the newbie and I don't know anything. I don't know anybody and I'm scared, but it's those kind of situations have taught me that I can and I will be resilient, and I will get to where I want to go. So yeah, that has really pushed me to be where I am. So I wanted to start this podcast because I had been posting on Instagram for quite a while, and I really liked the platform that it gave me. I liked the feedback that I got from other people. I liked that it kept me accountable, because if I, told some of my followers that I would reach out every week, or I would post this or something, I would have them, they kind of depended on it, and it felt good. And there's a nice sense of responsibility and things like that. So I realized that I could only fit so much of my idea in a short little, 90-second reel, or, a 60-second story. And I just figured that I wanted more. I realized that I wanted that creative part, and maybe that was what I was missing. And so lo and behold, I'm starting this podcast. And I feel like with starting this, it kind of feels like the shoe fits, if that makes sense. When I was in nursing, before I was even in nursing school, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to be a nurse. I knew that I wanted the lifestyle. I just didn't know how I was going to get it. I was the first one in my family to go to school, and I had no real, I had support, but not the same as somebody with two parents that have gone to school and their friends all went to school and things like that. I had nothing like that. So it was really just uncharted territory. And, it's difficult. And, this isn't really necessarily a nursing podcast. It's a real life podcast for nurses and people like me. And, my thing is I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. I want to enjoy my life, because as an ER nurse and somebody who's had a couple lives before I was a nurse, I know how fast life goes by. And I know what it's like to look at the end of something and just be like, I wish I would have spent more time doing that. I wish I would have done more things with that. And yeah, I want to do more. And so anyways, that's why I started this. And I'm going to be talking about things like burnout and stress, fitness that works with my shift life. I don't have, 8 hours, 5 days a week after work. I work 12, 16-hour shifts. Like I don't have that time. So following somebody else's routine that isn't a nurse just doesn't work for me. But I figured out something that works for me, and maybe we can figure out something that works for you. So another thing I'm really passionate about is real estate investing and building passive income. I really like the fact that I can build something with my hands and make it better and turn it into a profit. With stocks, you can't really touch them. You just daily cost average, dollar cost average into them and just hope for the best. Not to say that I don't invest in stocks, I do, but you got to have your money in multiple different places. So we're going to be talking about that, relationships, mindset, and personal growth. I mean, I can continue to talk about that all day. I think all of us deal with that. And as nurses, and if you're not a nurse and you're still listening, by all means, I am a human being first and a nurse second. So this is all going to relate to pretty much anybody. I just know that for me, when I was looking for something, I couldn't find it. So if you're a nurse or a hardworking person who's tired of surviving and ready to build, this is for you. If you've ever felt like there's more out there and you just need somebody to say, I get it, well, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm here to help with. And I want to help people. I'm not pretending to have all the answers. I'm not pretending to be able to fix everything or that I even have my life all together. But I will be real about what I've done, what's helped me and what hasn't helped me, and what I still struggle with. And, the more that I get from other people, the more that I can analyze and talk about, and we can share back and forth what has worked and what hasn't. I think that there is a lot of growth that can be said for people's mistakes. I've always thought about it as mistakes are great as long as you don't repeat them, as long as you learn from them. And sometimes you have to repeatedly make the same mistake, and that's just life. It is what it is. So, that's this podcast, From Scrubs to Riches. That's what we're all about. And I want to build a community. And so this is just the beginning. Subscribe, follow me on Instagram at nurse_Shelbo. And DM me what topics you want to hear about. Episode 1 is down, and let's build something together. All right. Thanks for listening.